The NFL is back, and FanDuel's got everything you need to play your game, from same-game parlays to live betting. Right now, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. 21 plus in present and select states. 18 plus in Kentucky and Wyoming. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
What's going on? I'm Arch Manning, Viore athlete and college quarterback. Whether I'm running, training, traveling, or just unwinding at home, I love doing it in my core shorts from Viore. With a breathable boxer brief liner, they're quick to dry, super versatile, and stand up to even my most intense training sessions. Plus, they come in 3 inseams and a ton of colors. Ready to try a pair? Go to Viore.com/Arch and get 20% off at checkout. I think you're going to love them as much as I do. That's VUORI.com/ARCH and get 20% off your first order. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Have a great day.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 1865 Match Report. I'm Baz and I'm joined by Tom Newton, and we're discussing Forest's 3-0 victory over Tottenham Hotspur this Sunday afternoon. So Tom, that was better than spending the afternoon Christmas shopping, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a much needed win because obviously with West Ham playing at the same time as us, but then obviously Leeds playing Brentford for the 4:30 kickoff, we needed, stating the obvious, those 3 points to obviously create a gap between us and the bottom 3. So really good win and much better than Christmas shopping.
Definitely. And not just that as well, it was like we've had a couple of very unconvincing performances. Obviously the 3-0 defeat to Everton was awful, but even against Utrecht, we looked a bit shaky at places. So I think as well, the performance today makes a massive difference. But yes, following on from our European excursion earlier in the week, we had a few changes. The big surprise being Brazilian keeper John making his Premier League debut. So we lined up as John in goal, back 4 of Savona, Milenkovic, Murillo and Nico Williams. Then Sangaré and Anderson behind Hutchinson, Gibbs-White and Callum Hudson-Odoi, with Igor Jesus up front. How did you feel about that lineup, Tom?
With John Victor coming in, I was a bit... I think he's been... We don't really know a lot about him, do we? He hasn't really been tested. I mean, there's a couple of iffy moments, but I mean, I wouldn't say the goal was his fault against Utrecht. Pretty comfortable against Malmo, wasn't it, the other week? So yeah, I was a bit surprised, but I understand why he played, because obviously Sells got his groin problem. But yeah, it was the game where let's see what you can do, and he passed it with flying colours, didn't he? Distribution was spot on, commanding of the box was spot on. Really good save from Archie Gray. I thought he was fine, to be honest, and what you want from your second choice keeper.
Absolutely, and I was quite pleased to hear us chanting his name as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that will settle him as well, because obviously coming to a new club, new league, etc., you want to be like accepted by the fan base, don't you? And he's come in and he's done well today, and obviously got a chant, which some players have been here longer and haven't even got a chance. So yeah, it's.
Although just to add to that, there was a point where we were chanting "Big John, give us a wave," and he obviously his English wasn't good enough for that one.
Yeah, exactly. But no, good performance from him, and also I was quite happy to see Odoi dropped. I just don't think he's been at the races for a good number of games now, and Dyche has been playing him and bringing him off at half time, and that's happened what, 3, if not 4 times over the last month or so. So it's nice to him to probably just like refresh himself really. And at the moment, I know Back was just coming back from his injury, but Hutchinson and Hudson-Odoi are the 2 best wingers of the club in my eyes, and it was nice to see them both on the field at the same time.
Absolutely. And yeah, so in the game itself, Forest basically started the match much better. So obviously the game against Everton, we started very, very slowly, whereas in this one we went straight at them, creating a chance early on. Savona cross gets put onto the post by Sangaré. Jesus follows up, which is blocked, and then Nico tries again, but he had his effort saved by Vicario. Tottenham basically decided to play like a Thomas Frank side, what I always think of as a Thomas Frank side. Lots of little niggles preventing any sort of fluency from either side in the game. And we'll come back to the referee later, but he didn't help. And then there was a couple of chances. Richarlison puts a header wide. Milenkovic puts one wide. I think it was Nico Williams putting the cross. I think it was at a corner. But then the key moment of the match, it's been described as a horror show from Vicario, but I've watched it back a couple of times now, and I think it's actually, as much as it was a horror show from Vicario, it was great play by us, because their keeper receives a ball. He's got loads of space, quite a lot of time, but then Callum just charges him down. And it's like he panics and he plays this really weak ball forward to Archie Gray, and Ibra sneaks in behind him, nicks the ball off him. At the time, I thought Ibra's touch was awful, but actually, again, having watched it back, he just pushes the ball away from Vicario, and then that gives Callum a really easy tap in. So, yeah, that's how I saw it at the time. And then having watched it back, I think it's an even better goal than people are giving us credit for.
Yeah, it is, because obviously we picked the pocket of Archie Gray. To be honest, Archie Gray actually wanted that ball. If you see it back, he's saying to Vicario, give me that ball. And obviously he hasn't seen Sangaré in his rearview mirror, has he? And obviously Sangaré's picked his pocket. And like you said, I thought it was the chance had gone, to be honest. And obviously he just like put the ball on plate for Callum to slot it in. So really good play by Sangaré. We'll talk about him in a bit, but some fans like recently have not been having him, and even though he's been playing really, really well, I was so happy for his, not only a few weeks ago when he scored his first goal for the club against Leeds, because he deserved that, the hard work he's put in. It's not been obviously easy street for him, has he? He had malaria, didn't he? Took time to settle in, and he was phenomenal today. I know Callum will probably get the plaudits of man of the match because obviously he got the 2 goals, but Sangaré was brilliant. He absolutely bossed that midfield with Elliot Anderson, and the growing number of the V1 Sangaré club in Upper Bridgeford. We was very proud of him when he scored that goal. So yeah, I'm really happy for him, and he's going to be a massive, massive loss. And Ivory Coast are obviously reigning AFCON champions. They do go to the latter stages 9 times out of 10 of the AFCON, regardless of where it is. So we're going to miss him for, what, is it 6-7 weeks at that tournament?
Something like that.
So I just hope that Nico Dominguez gets over his knee problem, which Dyche alluded to in the post-match press conference, and we can get him back to the Dominguez of last season.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, the other thing that I noticed was the way that we played, and I don't know if this was a deliberate thing or just because that's how Spurs were set up as well, was we kind of... Sangaré was playing a kind of different role. So it was Elliot Anderson that was doing a lot of the dirty work of closing them down and putting the tackles in. And then it was Sangaré that was doing the defence splitting passes and trying to look for... putting his head up and looking for the opportunities when he received the ball, whereas it's generally been the other way round in a few recent matches. But it definitely made him stand out, as I thought he was our best player, apart from maybe Jesus. But again, we'll come back to that later as well. We made a few more chances. We definitely dominated the rest of the first half. There was that amazing cross by Jesus that Morgan sort of slid in on and couldn't quite get contact with. There was another bit where Morgan did I think it was like a back heel, and it should have. I think it bounced off one of their players, and it definitely looked like a corner from where I was. All the Forest players thought it was a corner, but the referee gave it as a goal kick, which is one of those things that seems to be happening to us a lot this season.
It wasn't only just the players on the pitch. About 7,000 in Trentham thought it was a corner as well, but Sam Barrett, which we'll talk about in a minute, had other ideas, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a bit where we broke up the far end, up towards the Trent end, and one of their players basically just grabbed Jesus by the collar on his shirt and pulled him to the ground, and the referee waved play on for that. There was just more and more little things that Spurs were doing to try and break us up, and the referee was just letting them get away with it. And then as soon as we did anything, then walked near one of them, we were getting fouls given against us, and it was absolutely infuriating.
Yeah, there was a guy who I've not spoken to before, was walking down the steps in Upper Bridgeford to go get a drink or whatever, and he says if he doesn't give it for both sides, he can get it. You get it. But then he was so, like you just said, mentioned, he was giving stuff to them and not to us, and it's like, where do you live, Walthamstow or something like that? Have you got like a Spurs shirt on under? He was crap, and I know it's a really hard job being in the Premier League and everything, and the scrutiny on you is unreal, but he didn't help himself, did he? And he just, and when you got about 4 or 5 Forest players going up to him, like Milenkovic, Gibbs White, there was a few others, Igor Jesus, which Sangaré pulled him away just to save him from a booking.
Yeah.
He just as I was going down the stairs, he was like waving them away, and it's like, that is a referee what you cannot talk to. And I'm surprised that he didn't start waving the yellow card, because he was just crap. He didn't help himself one little bit, and then obviously in the second half, a decision did go our way, and the biggest, probably the fourth biggest cheer of the afternoon after all the goals and everything. It's just like, I just thought he was really, really poor from him today. And
I think someone mentioned this on the radio, but I thought it at the time, which is like, it's not great for the players when they've played as well as they have, and then they leave the field to a chorus of boos because the officials have been awful.
Yeah, it tells you everything. It really does tell you everything. And Romero, we know he's like the king of the dark arts and things like that. But to be honest, I thought Igor Jesus played so well against him today. Absolutely bullied him at one point, and he had him on the ropes, didn't he? And But the referee. I mean, it's sad, isn't it? We won the game 3-0, and we're talking about the referee. It's just like, you just know that the referee's had a bad game when he's still the talking point after a 3-0 win. So not only did we beat Spurs, we had to beat him as well. So 12 men we had to beat today.
Anyway, so leaving the field to a chorus of boos, but that was 1-0 to Forest.
The 1865 match report.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls. Whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
We started the second half brightly again, especially when Callum breaks down the left wing. He turns Pedro Porro inside and out, and then he does like a long-range Callum special. Now, was it a cross? Was it a shot? Callum said it was both. Having watched it back, it was from a lot further out than most of our regular Callum specials, but it is also what he does, that cutting in and then putting it in on his right foot to turn it, to sort of curl it in towards the far post.
Yeah, it's a wonderful right foot he's got. When he gets it right, he does get it right. And I thought it was a shot to start with. Then obviously he's basically cleared it up on Radio Nottingham, basically saying it was a cross-come shot. But when that went in, I mean, this is for anybody who's got a really good memory, but the last time I heard a stadium not so much cheer but roar a goal like that was when Thomas Partey scored against us in a 5-0 defeat at the Emirates in the first season back in the Premier League. It was just like they were in awe of the goal, and I thought that does really happen at the City Ground, and it did twice today, because obviously talk about it in a second, but Sangaré's goal, which a phenomenal strike. So yeah, I mean, Callum hasn't had the best of season so far. He's been a bit in and out of the squad and everything, but the 2 goals today will do his confidence wonders, won't it? So yeah, really happy for Callum, and he was, before he come off, he was looking for that hat-trick goal, wasn't he? And obviously it didn't come, but yeah, probably his best. Well, it is the best performance this season from him.
Absolutely, yeah, he was outstanding. The way he turned Pedro Porro as well, we've not seen him do that this season, turning someone inside and out. And Porro's not a bad defender.
Yeah,
so.
and I think it was it for the? Yeah, I think it was for the goal. I don't think it was Pedro Porro. I think he was up against Bentancur as well. And he needs no like mug, is he? And he sent him one way and put the ball in the towards goal, and it went in. So yeah, he had a really, really good game, and by all accounts, Callum does always have a good game against Spurs. So yeah, he's carried on with that trend.
So Thomas Frank makes a triple substitution to try and get something out of the game. The most notable thing about the substitution, though, was Jedward Spence chucking a hissy fit at being replaced. Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah. And to be honest, I thought he was their best player on the day. I thought I didn't think much of him wearing odd boots, but that's probably Jed Spence's character kind of thing, a bit different. But no, I thought he was their best player. I really did. But we know they've got obviously injury. Is it Kulusevski? They're really missing him. I think he makes the side ticking. But yeah, Richarlison, I was just saying before we started recording, Richarlison's there, but he didn't do anything today, and he got absolutely pocketed, didn't he, by Milenkovic and Murillo, and he couldn't get anything out of them today. They're back to their old selves. They're brilliant. Whatever Milenkovic got rid of in the air, Murillo was mopping up on the floor kind of thing. They were brilliant today, and they really protected Big John in goal.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd also, on the same thing, Xavi Simons has had a pretty good run for the last 2 or 3 games for Spurs, and Anderson just kept him completely out of the game. They both kicked lumps out of each other, but he just didn't get anywhere near Anderson.
Yeah, it was nice to see Anderson back to his old self today, like controlling that midfield. And I put it on Twitter. I thought in the last couple of weeks, I mean, he's not the only one. He just hasn't been playing that well. And I think as a team, I think the games are just like probably caught up with him, and obviously they haven't got much left in the tank. But he was back to his old self today, probably because I know he come on against Utrecht, but he didn't start the game, did he? So yeah, he went back to his old self, which is good for us.
Absolutely. I thought our like 2 best players were Igor Jesus, who, as I said, he was just winning stuff that he had no right to win, just winning everything in the air and running. And Ibra, whose passing was cutting Spurs to pieces. So I really wanted both of them really to get a goal, a bit of a reward. So when Anderson did break forwards, he gives the ball to Callum, and Callum plays it square, and Sangaré's running in, and he just wellies it. He proper wellies it. Must be like 25 yards, goes in off the post. Absolutely deserved. I was so happy for him.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the members of the V1 Sangaré club, we were so proud of him because he was scoring, by all accounts, I don't watch the Eredivisie, but he was scoring them for fun for PSV, and we haven't really seen him take a shot on like that, really, and get it on target and score. But yeah, phenomenal strike. I was right behind it. As soon as it left his boot, you knew something was going to happen. And hits the post, and goals always look good, don't they, off the post?
Yeah.
It's like the Darren Anderson goal at Ellen Road for England in the Umbrella Cup years ago, when it like hit post and in kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, really good strike, and phenomenal goal. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the roar around the City ground after that goal, it was like one of those wow moments. And yeah, he was nice to top off. Not only the performance, but in the last few weeks he's probably been our best player, Sangaré. So it's just going to be a bit of a loss now as he goes to the AFCON with Ivory Coast.
Yep, and I think that was pretty much it as far as chances goes. But what I have to say is the atmosphere then from the fans was not something I've heard for a very long time. It was all Olays and the whole like cheering every pass, which I can't remember us doing for years.
No, and I just had a look on Twitter before we started recording. There's an account called the Hotspur Edition. And they says, it's bad getting Olayed by 17th place Forest. And I replied, well, the only reason we were in 17th place was because of that fraud of a manager who we had for 40 days. And he was the guy who cemented you in 17th position last season. So I said, we won't be here long because if we play like that for the majority of the season, I know it's a hard task in the Premier League, but looking at the results today, I mean, Villa beat West Ham. Leeds only got 1-1 against Brentford with 5 points cleared the relegation zone. We've got players coming back like Bakwa, Douglas Luiz. He had a bit of a cameo today. I know will be coming back in the next month or so because he didn't get picked for the Nigeria squad, did he? So I know you've got to wait until probably the back end of January to register him. So we are getting players back, and that's only going to be a good thing for us. And I do how we play today, and I know this season hasn't gone according to plan, but I think with Dyche, I think people are like saying, he only scores from set pieces and everything. How we played today and the chances were created and the different types of goals we scored. This is probably the first time in Dyche's managerial career that he's got an owner behind him who's willing to put the money in. He's got ambitions, and this is probably the best. No disrespect to the likes of Everton, Burnley, Watford, etc., but this is probably the best squad Sean Dyche has ever had.
Yeah,
and when you got
this performance as well shows like when we've got. This was as close as we could probably put out to our probable first team, and it showed how good they are.
Yeah, and even in the games what we have, a couple of weeks ago when we played Liverpool, really good performance, get a 3-0 win. Really good performance against Leeds after we go a goal behind. A really good performance. So how they're playing, it's not just like, let's smash the ball up to. I know we did it against Everton, but nobody had a good game that. But yeah, how we're playing at the moment, if we carry on doing that and the players are going to get fitter, etc., and get our better players back, it's just going to be really good for us. And hopefully we can keep everybody fit.
So that was it. That was a very thoroughly enjoyable 3-0 victory.
The 1865 Match Report.
This episode is brought to you by NBA on Prime. This Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern, it's the Emirates NBA Cup Championship game on Prime. This year's quest for the Cup has been building to this, the championship game, live from Las Vegas. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to get started today. The Emirates NBA Cup Championship game, this Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern, only on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
So here's the view from a Spurs fan, Alfie Nicholson.
Hi, it's Alfie Nicholson here, Tottenham fan, after another worrying loss, this time on the road for Tottenham at the City Ground. Typically, Spurs' away form has been really good this season. It's sort of been the silver lining to lose a game away to a team like Nottingham Forest, who've been struggling recently, obviously. I sort of looked at the fixtures and thought this is perhaps the perfect time to play them. And with Forest losing the last few Premier League games, it felt that they were sort of going off the ball slightly under Sean Dyche. And we've obviously had a big week. Drawing away to Newcastle was a great result, and then back-to-back wins for the first time in a long time under Thomas Frank. It felt as though this was a perfect opportunity to put a statement performance out and get another impressive away win. But I think the start, approach, and the lack of desire from Tottenham really just opened the door to a Nottingham Forest side that just feeds off of that. I think there's probably a reason why Thomas Frank struggles against Sean Dyche so often. I think it's because of the running power and the desire that Sean Dyche clearly just instills in his team straight away, as he has clearly done at Nottingham Forest. And it just causes problems all over the pitch. The players that just shy away from the competition straight away, I felt. And you can perhaps say that the first two Nottingham Forest goals were unfortunate to concede. I think Vicario's at the fault for the second, possibly the first, and mainly obviously Archie Gray for the first goal. But I still come away thinking it could have been more than 3, really. That was my worry. There's a flurry of chances towards the end after that free kick where I felt it could have been 4. I think we came to the City ground last season under Frank, got a red card and lost 1-0. And I thought that was a pretty poor performance, but suddenly we've managed to go one worse, 2 worse actually, and lose 3-0 in a manner that was just unacceptable. It felt like we'd sort of turned a corner under Thomas Frank with 2 really attacking and front-footed performances, but we just didn't see that at all. And I think that's credit to Nottingham Forest. The running power in midfield, I think, overdid us really. He gave players like Mohamed Kudus and Xavi Simons, who really shined in previous weeks, who have had really great performances because of the space they've been afforded. I think Sean Dyche did well there to sort of put Elliot Anderson, Sangaré and Nico Williams on them 3 players, all 3 players that have really high intensity and high work rate. And it just snuffed out any opportunity for them players to make the magic that they had in the previous performances in previous weeks. So, yeah, it's a worrying return to a lacklustre, tepid performance from Spurs once again. But you've got to give credit when credit's due, and Nottingham Forest are absolutely worthy of that victory today. And, players like Hudson-Odoi, I think Spurs should have gone for in previous seasons, really. And they're coming back to bite us now. Obviously, Gibbs White was a saga we all suffered with over the summer. And that's, come back to bite us once again. So, congratulations to Nottingham Forest. And it's another annoying away loss for Tottenham Hotspur.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We completely outran them, outthought them, wanted it more. That's definitely the case.
Anybody got a violin? So, with all the money they've got and everything, can little Nottingham Forest absolutely steamroll them? It's tough for London clubs, isn't it? But no, it was definitely our day today.
Really absolutely. As I said, I don't think anyone had a bad game at all. Had a bad day. Again, I just have to mention Igor Jesus was outstanding. Ibra was outstanding. Big John was pretty good, and it was nice for him to get a chance. I'd also want to just say there were a few moans in the first half, a little bit about Morgan every time one of his passes went astray. But again, I thought actually he maybe not on the ball, but off the ball, he was outstanding today. He put in so much work and he embodied why we beat them, because he just put the work in.
Yeah, I mean, with Morgan, he wants the ball all the time. You cannot deny that. And he's always trying to create openings and something out of the ordinary. It might not be there, but he will try it anyway. And if it does come off, we could probably take 4 or 5 of their players out of the play. And there was one what didn't come off today. And he's like, and he's matched. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Porro, because it was in front of the main stand. He matched him, 40, 50, 60 yards. Got in front of him, and then got Nico Williams to mop up. It's like, yeah, you don't mind that from a player who's got the desire to get the ball back for his team. So, I mean, I just think we was always going to get a performance out of Morgan today, because of obviously what happened with the Spurs transfer saga. But again, really good performance from him today. I know he's like annoys a lot of the fans with what he tries to do. But he's one of those players who will try something out of the ordinary just to get a foothold in the game. Yeah,
absolutely. And we ultimately we can't want him to change, because he is like that special player. You don't want him to just become ordinary and become like everyone else, because we've got other players who can do the boring stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had players in the past excuse me, where they've stopped doing the things that they're good at, and they've just become a bit ordinary, and they just like lose so much of their game. So no, Morgan, carry on what you're doing.
Yep. So I think I mentioned earlier. So I thought this game kind of showed what we're capable of if we get to play our first team. We're lucky now. We've got a few days off. It's Fulham away next, isn't it? And then the busy Christmas bit. So hopefully, obviously, Dougie Luiz is just coming back. We've kept Matt Sells out. We've got Nico Dominguez out. just as kind of precautionary things. Murillo's still only coming back a little bit. So I think, everyone needs to be wrapped in cotton wool a little bit. So having a bit of a break is probably a good thing for us now.
Yeah, it's gold dust for Sean Dyche because I think he's had, three game weeks, hasn't he? And so he's probably been having the game recovery, a bit of analyst work, and that's it. So for him to get, 7 days, because I think Forest I don't think they will go down next Sunday. I think we'll obviously travel on the day of the game, early kind of thing. So he's got a big week now to obviously hone his ideas and what he wants from the players, and they get a better understanding, and also the players coming back have a bit more rehab work, and you never know, might be Backwell might start next week, and he's just another string to the bow. Luis might be more fitter, so. Definitely, especially with Sangaré going to AFCON. So it's a really important week for him, and it's like I said, it's like gold dust for Sean Dyche and his staff.
So, so thank you very much, Tom. Thank you to Alfie Nicholson for the Spurs point of view, and thank you, listener. So, as I said, we've got a short break where with no games coming up for the next week or so, but we'll be back with you for the busy Christmas period, as they like to say. Come on, you Reds.
You've been listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps other listeners find our content.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.